lady one time to come to me, and she said, I really want to learn how to sing well in my church choir. I struggle, and I hear the people beside me, and they're doing so well, and I can't do what they do, and I want to learn how to do what they do. And we worked with her, and just about 3 months later, I got a dozen roses from her, and she said, you'll never know what being with you has meant to me.
Super.
Lots of incidences like that. And
let me ask you a question. There's a lot of young parents out there that see this program, have small children. I have a theory, and I don't have anything to base it on other than just a theory. I suspect from the time that a young mother is expecting that baby and carrying that child, that because they can hear sounds and whatever, if music is played from the early, and I'm not talking about once in a while, I'm talking about in the home, music is going. I believe that that child will grow up having some level of expertise or ability in music. Am I off base there?
No, you're not off base. Now, you and I both know that this is hypothetical, and we really don't have a way to prove that. Science may have come up with some things in favor of it, but my opinion is that's true. My opinion is that if you have music playing, and like you say, even if the mother sings while the baby's in the womb, I believe that there comes, over a period of time, that baby is adapted and adjusted to music in such a way that it becomes a part of his being. It becomes a part of his nature. And as he grows on, and that love for music has already been established within him, it's much easier for him to grow in that rather than to have never had music played in the home. One of the things that oh, and I thought it might have been in
the style, don't lose your thought, but the style of music and what you play will really dictate what that child likes and dislikes in music.
That's true. One of the best music books that's written is called Foundations in Singing by Van A. Christie, and one of the statements that he makes in that book is that we get accustomed to hearing things over the radio, we get accustomed to hearing things over the TV, and we're not as accustomed to live music as people used to be many, many years ago. It's a lot more difficult for you to believe that you can do something if all you've ever had to compare it with is something that's been formed in a studio where all kinds of electronics and mechanisms have been adjusted to make that person sound the way they do. That's why I think it's very important that we go back to gathering around the piano and singing, that we, I mean, I use a lot of taped music, but the live voice is always far more reaching in than a taped voice. And that's why I think that if a mother sings to her child as they're growing, that child, it sort of develops almost a special bond in there with even more than just the mother, but with music itself.
And it really doesn't matter how well the mother sings or doesn't sing, or the daddy or whatever. The fact of singing just gets music into the heart and life of that little child. When our kids were growing up, they were small. We started when they were really small. Every night when it was bedtime, we put on soft, easy music, relaxing music for them to go to sleep by. And when they got in high school, you know, and there again, they were up on all the contemporary music too with their peers, but every now and then they'd go to singing some of these old songs from way back, and the kids call elevator music. Where'd you learn that? What? How do you know that? But it's really important to know in the early going that, like you said, that personal touch, the singing to that child is so important in it. I don't want to run out of time. I want to spend some time on your event that's coming up. Now, you started a few years back a presentation here. I'm going to let you tell us about it. It's actually a staged presentation, and you utilize area people and whatever. I want you to tell us the history of it briefly and what's going on and dates and times and so forth.
Okay. It began in 1982 when I opened my studio. It sort of began as a recital. with the private students that I was teaching. We'd get together, and once a year we would show the people what they had learned and what had culminated in them through the year. As we began to grow with it, I found that just a staged recital for me was not as deep as I wanted to go. I wanted to be able for the children to feel like that they were a part of something that was alive and moving and going, rather than to get on stage and have to sing one song and be petrified if they're going to miss one note.
Yeah.
There's a difference there, and I've done both of them. What I'm in the business of doing is growing people. Most musical productions is presented like this. Here's the music. You learn the music and you meet up to the standards, and then you'll be a part of this musical. That's not at all what we do. What I do is I take my students who either private or class students, they can be in a music class, and I say in my heart or to them, okay, this is where you are. Now, what can we do with you that you would be a part of this and you would feel like you've grown some as a result when we finish this musical? As a result of that, I've got students that, I have students that aren't ready to sing solos. They don't want to sing a solo. They just want to be a part of a group. When they get through, they've never been on stage like this in their life. They feel like that they have accomplished something wonderful. I have students that want to sing a solo but have never sung one. If they do, and they're willing to really work, because my standards are pretty high as far as letting them get on stage, because I don't want them to be embarrassed.
Right.
I don't want our show to be bad. So what we do is I tell them, you're ready if you'll do this, this, and this. And if you'll do these things, you'll be able to do okay as a solo, a group number, a duet, or whatever. And so we use normal people that are not show people, that either children that are just growing into music, or adults who've had a dream that they've never been able to fulfill, and this gives them an opportunity to fulfill it. But the thing that I want to stress is, and if you're able to come to this, you'll see what I'm saying, these are top notch. And I know that the reason that I've been able to produce the sound that I have is because of God's blessings. I know that. It's almost as if the Lord takes their voices and helps them to understand what to do in order to do what they want to do on stage. And we've been astounded. I've had professional people to come in and say, this is amazing. Where did you get these kids? And I say, these are just normal kids, you know. All we've done is we've shown them how to go from step A to B to C to D to get to a place that they want to be.